All right, y'all. We are live. What's going on? Poke, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm not there.
Oh. All right, y'all can give her just a second. Hold on 1 second. I'm on live. I can't talk right now. Okay, sorry
I'm
about that.
there.
Okay, so hey everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. This is our first edition of the Transfusion Podcast, and we're gonna get a jump in today. We are definitely going to touch on some things in regards to what today is. Today is, am I saying it right? Transgender Day of Remembrance.
Yes, that's correct. TDOR.
TDOR. Okay, so today's TDOR, and I got my girl Polka in the building, and we're definitely going to have. We should have some more people coming up, and we're going to kind of go from there. You want to knock
Okay,
it out
the
the
next
park?
situation I'm getting set up and
Okay.
everything. Just give me a minute.
Bitch, the intro was cute. No shade.
Huh? What
I saw.
intro?
I had an intro come in. You wasn't paying attention, girl.
Oh, okay.
Let
Say it again.
me see if it let me. Let me see. Okay. Mm, that was so cute. Period. Okay. Well, let me get to the topics that we're gonna talk about today. Because Pucker's still not ready. Okay, so I didn't send it to them. Y'all bear with us. Okay, we could start this off by giving. I definitely want to give a moment of silence to all of my sisters, all my girls that have lost their lives to violence and things of that nature. So we're gonna start off with a moment of silence.
Is any of the other ladies? Um.
They're not here. They're not here.
Okay, let's give them a few seconds to jump on. I'm about to jump in and tell them to get their ass on here.
Okay.
Oh, huh? Yeah, I'm in a meeting. Dallas, go upstairs, honey. Okay, you're not gonna have a chance.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, well, yeah. So thank you, everybody who came out last night to the Rhonda's food drive and donated. We got a whole bunch of food. We're donated to the Ronald McDonald House, and yeah, we're just waiting on the girls. Okay, you done got it together really quickly. Okay, there we go. Here goes Stacy. Add to stage. Hey, Stacy.
Hey,
What's going on? How you doing today?
I'm in the car, so if it cuts out, that's why. But I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us. Oh, we also have Miko. Hey, Miko.
Hi, how are y'all?
All right, the girls is coming in the
It's the
building.
Transfusion Podcast.
All right. We'll let everybody get situated and then we can get started. Poker, you can knock it out the park. Or Miko, whichever one of y'all want to do it.
Okay. This is just like a regular transfusion panel.
Yeah. Oh, and there goes Courtney. Hey, Courtney.
Hey!
Okay, let me play the intro for y'all one more time just in case y'all missed it, because y'all might have missed it. Let me play it one more time. Hold on. 1 second, y'all. Period. We back. Okay. Oh, that was
That
so
was
cute.
that was actually really cute.
Yes.
Welcome.
I just gotta send you my picture so you can update mine.
Oh yeah, because you're not on there.
Yeah, I'll send it to you for the next one.
Okay, boo.
Well,
All right.
welcome, ladies, and welcome, audience. We are a panel for Transfusion Radio, bringing an end to confusion about transgender. That is our motto, and that is what we try to accomplish. Here, we're going to be talking about all kinds of trans issues that affect us, especially those that are affecting us today. And we want to have an open discussion about it. Where do we begin, ladies?
Poker. You got the list.
Okay, so we are beginning. Hold on, open it back up. So first, we're going to start with a 5-minute check-in and talk about what's going on and how everybody's doing, what everyone's working on, and then we'll get into our topic.
Okay. Well, I guess I can start off. Hey everybody, I'm Chloe. Today I'm doing better than yesterday. Uh, like I was saying earlier, we just got done with the food drive, and we gathered a whole bunch of food that we got to take to go donate to the Ronald McDonald House tomorrow. So I'm just preparing for that, and I got a big order I got to do for a house in the Midwest. So I got to get ready for that. So yeah, I'm just out here surviving. Court,
Question, Chloe.
yeah.
How do we share this to
I s-
Facebook?
okay. So I'm about to send the link in the group to share to Facebook. I sent it earlier, but let me send it again.
I got the link, but I'm trying to see how to.
Well, if you go onto YouTube and then hit share and hit the YouTube video, hit share, and then you just
We can't hear
share.
you, Chloe.
Y'all can't? You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, that's
I
Courtney.
It must just be
You
on
can't hear me,
Courtney's side.
Courtney?
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, you might have to click out and come back in. Refresh. Hit the refresh button.
Maybe I need to go back to go out and come back
Yeah,
in.
yeah. That happens with StreamYard sometimes. Can you hear me, Poker? Polka.
She must be muted or something.
Okay, it's StreamYard. StreamYard be acting really stupid. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear everybody again.
Okay, okay.
It also helps if y'all download the app. There's an app specifically for this.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. So if y'all weren't able to download it, it might. It usually is easier if oh yeah, because Polka is off the internet. I do know that hers is on there. But she wouldn't
Yeah.
download it. But if you go
What's
onto YouTube and just hit share, you can share it directly. I hear Dallas crying. Okay, Courtney, how you doing today? Go ahead. You can go next.
Girl? I'm making it.
Making it. Okay.
um, Getting ready to go to work in a couple of hours. Just trying to mentally prepare myself for the next minute.
Another day.
Yeah.
What about you, Stacy?
I'm doing good. I actually just left from. It's been a long day. I sent it over to you in the chat earlier today. I went over to go support a trans woman that was at her asylum hearing.
Mm-hmm.
We were expecting her to be taken by ICE today, but she wasn't. She got a continuance. So we have until March now to be able to prepare her case for asylum. So yeah, got to do that today. It's been exhausting. I'm finally headed home. So
Awesome. That's cool. What about you, Mika? What's going on with you? Anything new?
Well, other than last night, me, Lachey, and Alana gathered together to just powwow about some different angles and aspects of the show, and some of the topics maybe that we covered, or maybe the kind of structure and stuff. And one of the main topics we discussed last night was the varying opinions on the new situation with this new trans woman in Gold's Gym, this young trans woman in Gold's Gym, and how that's affecting us and how that makes us look. So we were just kind of throwing around some new topics, which at some point tonight I would like to get your opinions on.
Awesome. Most
Mm.
definitely. Damn, Poker just dropped. Just finna ask her what about her.
So let me go download the app.
Yeah, she got to download the app. Well, okay, I guess I can push this on because I think I know what we're talking about next. Okay, so let's see. Let's get this together. Let me see. Okay, so on the list of things that she has, it was okay. So what TDOR really is? Does anybody know what TDOR stands for? What it was created for?
Isn't it Trans Day of Remembrance?
Yeah. Do you know what it was actually like created for? By chance?
I assume it is because
To
I
remember the trans.
remember when we first started Transfusion,
Mm-hmm.
about a month in, the whole Malaysia Booker thing, and I know we got much more invested around the Trans Day of Remembrance around then because shortly after she was killed, there was a slew of Black trans women being killed. Day after
Right.
that, week after week, day after that. And so that's when I first became aware of Trans Day of Remembrance and understanding that it was a day to remember all the trans women who have died and whose names are forgotten and say their names. I was also in
Hello?
Yeah.
hello.
We're
I
here.
was also in a play that was about Trans Day of Remembrance, that was about mentioning all of these ladies' names who were killed and who lost their lives to senseless violence.
Poker, you there?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
It's your turn. Check in and tell us what today is actually meaning, or what it means, and why it was started and stuff like that.
Okay, I am good. I can't complain. I am preparing for my birthday, which I'm really, for some strange reason, I'm not as excited about. My birthday is Sunday. Um, Life is interesting. Um, yeah. So, but other than that, everything's good. I'm blessed by the best. So
Okay.
I'm not doing no complaining. Trans Day of Remembrance, Transgender Day of Remembrance. I've been knowing about it for a while. This National Day, and to me, it's about remembering those trans individuals, their life was taken from us,
Hmm.
and it was kind of getting a little frustrated because I know Chloe, you had did a picture for me, and I had to put a couple of my friends, my sisters on there who life wasn't taken and just died, but that just was close to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a remembrance wall for me. And I noticed a lot of people started posting the picture, and I was just like, well, no, that's not exactly what Trans Day of Remembrance is, because some of those girls died from natural causes, and their life wasn't taken. So I think people just be going and posting things, and they not really doing the background on what today means. So that's pretty much what it means to me. Well, that's what it really means
Yeah.
to
So the girls that we lost to violence, like
Yeah.
Malaysia Booker,
yeah,
uh, and so many others.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. And to add a little bit of like historical context of how it was started, it actually started back in 1998 with the murder of Rita Hester, who was also a Black trans woman. She was murdered in Massachusetts. And due to the lack of media representation, the lack of just awareness around what was happening, that that's how it started. Trans Day of Remembrance was started because of Rita Hester in Massachusetts. Gwendolyn Ann Smith, I believe, was the activist who started the first ever Trans Day of Remembrance. After that, it just became a yearly thing that continued to happen, and eventually it grew to the masses and became a global thing where it's observed now globally as well.
Mhm.
Well, well, I have a question for all the hosts. Have y'all ever been affected, or has violence ever affected y'all, like to your face? Like, have y'all ever been through anything that y'all felt like could have been life threatening, or anything of that nature? I know
Plenty
that
of
with me, with sex
Is that
working and stuff like that, I've battled
something
with
like this?
some life threatening experiences that I felt like I could have probably taken out. Thank God I wasn't, but I think that that's important to speak on the things that we've been through as far as like violence goes.
I
Anybody?
was
I
I
I
was
am better.
affected. Go
Oh,
ahead.
oh, you go ahead.
I was I was affected by it at an early age in my transition, and this is outside of sex work. When I first started my transition, I was a loner. I was usually, I would go out to certain spaces by myself. Um, and I went to this one club in South Dallas, and when I walked in, pretty much, I mean, I was at the beginning of my transition, so pretty much most people knew what they were looking at. Um, However, and I assume this one guy did too, but he was all over me for some reason in the club. He was just staring at me and constantly in my face and just really trying to get my attention. And when I'm by myself, I try not to give that much attention to that sort of thing. And so I got uncomfortable and decided to walk to my car and leave early. He followed me out of the club asking me for my number. And I was like, no, no, thank you. I have a boyfriend and all that. He followed me to my to my car. As I was opening the door, he wouldn't let me close the door, and he pulled out his gun. And he wasn't pointing it at me. He wasn't threatening me with it. He just pulled it out so that I could see it and just had it sitting there. And I looked at him and I was like, "Excuse me," and I closed my door. And my window was cracked at the time because I had one of the roll up
Not
windows.
gonna work for me, honey. Ugh.
And he just kind of set his gun in my window and was like, "Yes, I'm just trying to get your number." I was like, "Well, what the hell makes you think I would give you my number and you're threatening me?" "I'm not
Right.
threatening you." I said, "Well, but you are. You pulled out your gun while you're talking to me. Why would you pull out your gun while you're talking to a lady?" "Well, you ain't no lady, really. So why would you pull out a
Who
gun
was
when
that? Was that you?
That was her.
Oh,
That was
okay.
what he said.
Oh, okay.
I'm
My bad.
hollering.
But at that point, because he wouldn't let it go,
Hmm.
Did
I
I get
was
all the candy?
terrified and I gave him a different number just so that he would get his gun out of my window and just so that he would be satisfied. And the minute he got his gun out of my window, I rolled up my window and hurried up and pulled off. But it terrified me, the fact that he was threatening me, basically threatening me to give him my information
Yeah, that's crazy.
and
That is
knew what I
crazy.
was.
Poker, did you have something?
Yeah, so I was out at the car wash. I had met these four guys. I had a couple of incidents, but I met these four guys at the car wash, and I had connected with one of them and gave one of my number. And he was supposed to come over. Him and another guy was supposed to come over, and we was gonna have a good time. My sister was staying with me at the time, but her and her boyfriend was gone, and we had came over. But instead of two coming over, all four of the guys came over. So I was like, okay, cool. They can chill in there, just let's have a good time. I was on the XO, so we was about to have a good time, and
Mm-hmm.
at least that's what I thought. But when I went to go get on my knees, the guy shoved a gun in my mouth. And when he shoved the gun in my mouth, they started robbing me and turned my house up and stuff. And it was just really really scary because there was a time that I feel like I had no control over nothing was going on, but because of the circumstances, the whole time, baby, this is a long story, and I'm trying to see if I want to get into it. It's a long story. I'm trying to shortcut around some details, but yeah, he put a gun to my mouth and they robbed me. And they when they left, they tied me up in a closet.
Oh wow, that's crazy. You know something that's really crazy is that I feel like that happened in South Dallas, and I feel like all of our trauma has happened in South Dallas because mine, I know for sure mine was in South Dallas, and
Mine's out in North Dallas, off of Skimming in Delia.
oh no Dallas. See, I was out on the blade on Park Road, and I had did it. I was out there with my daughter, and she went and did a day. She hopped in somebody's car, and I hopped in another dude's car. And he pulled around to like, okay, y'all know where like off of Irvay, there's like them apartments where like they're flats. It was right over there in that area,
Uh-huh.
and he pulled in that parking lot or whatever. You know, I had did what I was going to do or whatever. He gave me the money, and then as we're like doing the deal or whatever, somebody walked up to the car with a flashlight. It's like security. I guess they had like parking lot security, and so he like puts the car in gear and like skirts off or whatever. And when he gets to the road to get back into the road, he stops the car and he says, "Did you my motherfucking money back?" And I looked at him. I said, "Excuse me." Bitch, I grabbed my purse and I hopped out the car, bitch, and took off running. Boom.
Uh-huh.
And he started chasing me in the car and drove his car up on the curb trying to run me over, bitch, in South Dallas off Irving, and tried to run me over. And once I realized I wasn't there was no getting away from him, I had like chunk. I didn't even grab all of it. I think I gave him like $60 or $70 back, and I kept like I don't know $30, but I threw it back at him. I said, "Bitch, leave me the fuck alone." And I hit it and I hit it, bitch. So I just remember being scraped up and scared for my life. Like I was just like, bitch, like it's not that serious, but you can take your fucking money, bitch. Get the fuck away from me.
Okay.
Bitch, it's not worth it. But yeah, that's my experience. Anybody else have something they want to share?
Experience. Well, I didn't get to hear the question.
Oh, the question was, have y'all ever experienced violence in or not in sex work or anything like just like violence? Have you ever had a time where you've had been in fear of your life almost? I guess.
All the time, honey. I remember when I was in the escort in Fort Worth. Um, I, th- Mind you, this girl named Cashmere or whatever her name was at the time, she was at the same hotel I was at, and I don't know why I allowed this to go on so far, but she was using my pictures, and I did not, unbeknownst to me,
Mm.
and we were cool or whatever, and so as they started figuring out that she was not me and they would come to me, like one of the guys had invited me to his house.
Mm.
And
Thinking you
so
was her. Well,
th-
thinking.
knowing it's the original me now.
Yeah. Okay. Got you.
Knowing it's the, so he, when I get to the house, he's cool or whatever. And I'm not knowing, he's asked me that I want something to drink. And I was like, you can give me a glass of water.
Mhm.
He's drinking some beer and just noticing small things like he's not all the way coherent, and I know this is just not beer. And so he tells me that he's on some what is those things that's chopped up into fours?
Bars.
Yes, bars. And so as the time goes on, I'm asking him like, breakdown of the exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, well, let me call my sister to get the money. And I'm like, okay. So he calls his sister. Now, mind you, his sister is the maid at the hotel.
Oh,
So he's the maid at the hotel. So he calls her. I'm thinking it's all good or whatever. So we go to the back room or whatever. And then I'm figuring out there's no money exchange. I'm finna get ready to go. So he starts to wrestle with me, and I'm thinking he's playing. And we wrestled and we tore up that house. Mind you, this was his mama's house.
Damn.
damn.
We tore up the house until I got out, wig off and all.
Oh,
Started screaming in the neighborhood because
yeah.
my keys are now inside the house and I'm outside the house.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
So you know what I'm saying? It just it's that line of work was very
Dangerous.
they're very dangerous, especially when you're out there by yourself
Mm-hmm.
in a place that you don't know of. So yeah, I've always been fear of even now. Just walking up in Pleasant Grove, child, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
kind
agree.
of crazy how all of our stories kind of sound,
Similar.
yeah, similar. How it started off with they're trying to convince us that they norm and they cool, and it just goes from there to them us being under attack, and just kind of like thinking of like as we say the different girl's name whose life was taken from us,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to even imagine what their last minutes was like.
Can I
It's scary.
can I also ask, because today is, I mean, because we are talking about Trans Day of Remembrance, and there is a girl, I think her name was Lala or
Girl,
something.
la la.
Girl,
Girl, la
la,
la.
Mhm.
who just recently passed. And the story, from what I understand, is that this was a man that she was actually involved in a relationship with,
Her lover.
and and she was trying to, I don't know if she's trying to break it off or what was happening, but he essentially was upset that he had come out of the closet for her and was in love with her, and she was the first one and all that, and he didn't want to let her go or something to that effect,
Yeah.
and end up killing her.
Yep.
How do you think, even nowadays, relationships
That's
are
not
becoming
love.
too dangerous for trans people?
I agree. I agree. That situation was actually crazy because if you, I follow Girl La La, and I don't know if y'all are like she's a social media influencer, and she was very adamant about she posted a lot about her relationship. She actually called him the wig snatcher because he used to snatch her wig off.
Oh,
Like
wow.
she'd be on live and stuff like that. And so there's a video that I was watching the other day where she was it's like a little skit that they do on TikTok where I'm girl. So he was saying what he would say if he was her. He was like, "I'm girl, la la," and I like to get my hair done every day. And then she would come on the camera. She would be like, "I'm wig snatcher," and I don't like seeing my girl with her wig on. Or it was like a back and forth type skit that they was doing, but they was basically talking about each other, but putting themselves in each other's shoes,
Mm.
and it just I could see like her slowly. She was telling us without telling us like, bitch, I need out. Like she was like asking for people to like get her out of this situation because she knew it was toxic and nobody listened. Not in time, I guess. It's crazy.
But how do you help someone? And here's my thing: I would, when the regular onlooker is watching,
Mhm.
and you see, because this has also happened in cisgender couples influences where they get into it on live and they get into it on camera. That happened where the couple end up, the dude end up killing his wife on live because they got into it, and you know what I'm saying. When you have these kind of toxic relationships, how do you come and
Right.
rescue that person? Because lots of abused people tend to run back to their abusers,
Yeah.
tend to uh, find ways of justifying what their abusers do. How do you save someone like that from an abuser?
Because they're not ready to be saved. I feel like that. I feel like that today, even in my relationship now. Like I'm kind of in the space where I'm like at it within. Like I really want to be done with it, but then it's so hard to like just like cut ties and just be done. Not saying that I feel like I'm something happened to me. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like it's just hard. It's hard to let go of something that I feel like I have became accustomed to, or like I'm just wrapped up. I feel like I'm wrapped up.
And how would you take to one of the girls coming to you and saying, "Girl, let me get you out of this. You ain't no, you know what I'm saying? This ain't good for you. You need to get away from this. You know, let me get you out of this." Would that be something that you would even want to hear from another girl?
It's especially like being around so many girls that done experienced it with so many girls so many times. It's kind of hard to kind of butt in people's situation because I don't witness and I've been a part of like trying to tell my sister or cousins or a lot of people like, hey, this is not a
For
good
you.
healthy situation for you. And them distancing themselves from me and almost acting as if I'm the enemy because I spoke on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's a scary situation. So I was having a conversation with one of my good Judies the other day, and I was telling her like it came to the point like I had to sit back and watch certain things be done to you, and I speak on it because I respected our friendship so much that I didn't want to lose it. So in order to still be in your life, I had to sit and watch you go through certain things that I knew wasn't healthy, and that's not a comfortable situation. I end up backing up, so I don't know how you would respond or what would be a way to do it if that person is not truly trying to get out of the situation.
So,
Right.
so that's crazy that you say that because so I want to say this happened probably about 2 3 nights ago. I was laying in bed and my dude was up here or whatever, and my daughter was on the phone with me and she was like, she said, "Am I on speakerphone?" And I was like, "No." I had her in my earbuds and I was like, "No, what's going on?" And she was just like, "You need." She's just told me, she's like, "Girl, you need to get up out of that. Like you just need to leave it alone." And I was just like, "Girl." I didn't know at the time. I didn't know like how to handle it because I was like, "Girl, leave me the fuck alone, girl. I know what I'm doing." But deep down inside, I keep telling myself like, "Bitch, I do need to just let it go." Like, bitch, like I just got I. It's hard.
So that's why, but that's why I wanted to, because you are a direct parallel to Girl Lala. You just said yourself, she was on camera reaching out to people, trying to basically say, "Hey, save me."
Right.
But how do you step in? Because when your daughter tried to come to you and tell you, "Hey, this ain't good for you, girl," your
Right.
reaction was, "Girl, I know what I'm doing." So how does someone distinguish when someone is genuinely asking for help, genuinely wants to be
I
saved?
don't think there's a way. I don't think there's a way to know.
Some
I think
people
it's
just been
you don't know until it's too late almost.
Right.
I
And
mean,
I think it's the way that these guys could try to get into your mind, really
yeah.
make you feel like you're alone. Ain't nobody there for you. I've had guys tell me that, like, ain't nobody gonna love you like I love you. And
Ooh, that's their favorite line.
ain't nobody gonna do some stuff like I do for you. The love bombing, they get themselves together for a couple days or a week or two, and you see it, and you're like, oh, they changed, and then all of a sudden
you
they
got
get what
something
they
to
want for
say.
that certain moment, and then it's back to the same thing, and you done forgot all about it because you're so wrapped up.
Y'all want to
Mhm.
know something though? Is so I was in a 4.5 year relationship on and off again, and at the time I knew in my mind that it just was not. It wasn't conducive to my life. It was detrimental. Like it was causing me to do things that I wouldn't do. I was into it with my homegirls behind them. Like it caused a big rift in my life. This person, and it wasn't until everybody kept telling me, "Girl, you need to get away from him. You need to get away from him." But I wasn't ready to get away from him until I was ready. And when I was finally ready and finally fed up, I had reached my weeks end. I was just tired of feeling feeling like somebody was there, but feeling alone. Like I was tired of feeling like because he used to use this thing like, mind you, this is the first person that I've ever with me transitioning and stuff like that. This is the first person I've ever been with like who was like publicly like with me and like outside like in your face like this is the first time I met his kids. I knew his grandparents. I knew his baby mamas. Like I knew all these things about this person, and it was, hey, Island Browning. There's people in the comments. Hold on. What's going on, boo? So it was the first time I had ever experienced being trans and
Being
proud of
accepted,
it, being
being
accepted.
accepted
Yeah,
by
and so
someone that
and
you
so
love.
I held on
Mhm.
to that for so long because I felt like it was all I knew, and I didn't want to let that feeling go. Yeah, I didn't want to let that feeling go.
I definitely get exactly what you want. Finally, like being a trans woman, going through transitioning, probably being neglected by your family or friendships, losing friends behind transitioning your identity, and then finally connecting with someone that you feel like get it or accepts you for who you are, that's willing to love you publicly and love you out loud. That's definitely a feeling, and I think a lot of guys that are trans attracted prey on them type of trans women because they know that we feel lonely sometimes. We
Hmm.
are not accepted. They just prey on our weaknesses. And it's sad, but I don't know how we as trans women can get past it because there's so much trauma and so much need of completion and need of just someone to be in our corner that we almost be willing to deal and put up and
Anything.
settle for any damn thing. And
Mm.
that's scary. Not all trans women, but majority of us
A lot
are
of
like
that
that.
comes from because when we start transitioning, we start from a man place and trying to get to a woman's place. So our self esteem isn't at the top already. And what these relationships tend to do is falsely feed our self esteem. We see this man who is accepting us, even though it's really more 9 times out of 10 just out of a lustful, keeping us to himself kind of a fantasy fetish sort of a thing.
Hate
But
that.
because it's us he's accepted, we somehow it kind of lifts our self-esteem to say, oh, a man is accepting me as a woman. Even though that's not really the case, that's how we feel. That's how we're made to feel. And so it makes us feel like people. It makes us feel human, like we are worthy of love, even though that's not really what he's giving us. And
And
we fall for that a
But
lot at the beginning of our transitions.
go ahead.
can
Go ahead.
we take that on and say that's a trans woman, or is that just a woman thing? Period.
I would say it's more with trans women because women start off with insecurities too, but I think our insecurity about not being a woman in the first place is really heavy. And so we instantly seek validation that we are a woman. We instantly seek validation from others that we are a woman, especially the people that we're attracted to. And so if a man that we're attracted to tells us, yes, I see you as a woman, that is a big kind of validation, especially for someone in the beginning of their transition. It's a really big validation. The older
And
we get and the further we get into our transition, the more we see it for what it is. But at the beginning of the transition, when you're still trying to struggle to find your voice as a woman, having that validation is a really big thing.
but not only that, even if you tie into what some of us do is for a living, like if you tie in the sex working aspect of everything, and now it's a man telling you, oh, bitch, I'm accepting you doing this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they're doing it for financial gain because they want what's at the end of the motherfucking rainbow. At the end of the day, like you know what I'm saying? Like bitch, like and they use that to try to parents, but ain't nobody else gonna want to be with no prostitute. Ain't nobody else gonna want to like bitch like, and that's what they do, like, and that kills me. That really fucks me because I'm like, girl, I be feeling like, girl, I already feel less than myself that I'm already having to do this, and then you know what I'm saying, bitch, for you to throw it in my face, and then I don't know, it's a mind control, it's a mind thing, a manipulation thing. I think that dudes use to kind of reel us in and keep us locked in. No shade.
You know what my professional grandfather told me? He was like, the reason why you come in contact with those type of men is because it's the type of environment you have created and conditioned yourself to feel like are safe environments.
True.
And
You
I
better
didn't
say
understand.
that.
I didn't understand what he was saying at first, but he was like, and I was like, I said, pops, I said, I'm still. He was like, why are you still single? And I was like, I don't know. He said, because you got everything. And I said, let me ask you, as a man, why do you think I'm still single? And he was like, let me think about it. He said it took him about 15 minutes. We changed the subject and he came back around. He was just like, you work so hard on yourself. The type of man, you work so hard building yourself up to be the woman that you are today, that the type of man you're used to being attracted to and the type of man that you keep around you and the type of man you go and look out for dates and all that type of stuff is not appealing to you anymore. And the type of woman you are, you intimidate those type of men because they can't have mind control of you and control your remove, and you don't have really a need for them like they need you to need them so that they can do the stuff you do. So he was like, we need to start searching around in like different pools, like maybe go
I've heard
before
that
me at
before.
the doctor's office
Fishing in
or
different ponds. They say it's called
yeah,
fishing in
in
different
different parts.
ponds.
Because I mean, the different, but at the end of the day, it still seems like no matter where you search for men, either you're gonna be fetishized, men gonna be fetishizing you, and I don't want to seem like a poor, bitter black trans woman that don't that I don't want to sound like that, but it's just sad because where are the men at? Like that really are open. I mean, it just. But then when
I
we
would say they would. I would say they in prison, child. But because I spent so much
Uh-uh.
time in there.
But that's
Uh-uh.
settling for something else too. You know,
Okay,
Girl,
exactly.
settling
Because
no,
for something.
ma'am. No,
they treat you
ma'am.
so well. I spent 16, almost 16 years out of my adult life in prison, and the insecurities that we talk about here about trying to find ourselves as being a woman, them men in there think that we are the women.
Yes,
But
God.
here's the
Just because they
problem with
ain't
that.
got nothing
Here's
else, girl,
right.
that's the only thing
That's
else they
that's
have.
that's crabs in a barrel, baby. If you are stuck in one place, if you are stuck with a bunch of men on an island and
Hmm.
ain't no other woman to be found, you
You're
are going
the
to be the
crowd.
woman. You are going to be the woman because they are woman deprived. So now anything feminine they see is going to become the woman. If you let any of those men out in the world to experience it, they'll turn around and look at you completely different. And that
Exactly.
they
I
only
have a
see you
question.
that way because you're in prison and they're locked up and can't have no other choices. And further, and I also want to say to this, and this is my personal preference, because I believe this too. I'm selfish. And I don't want to be with a man who would be with me while I'm prostituting. Every single time that I've been in a relationship, I've ended the sex work. Why? Because I'm selfish. I don't want you fucking with nobody. And I can't get mad at you for not wanting me to fuck with nobody, even if it's for money.
I
Because I'm
agree.
still touching other people. I'm still
I,
letting other people touch me. And so I think that that's a okay stance for a man to have is that if I can't be with someone who wants to fuck because I feel that way. I don't want to be with no man that's fucking with a bunch
right,
of other
because
women.
I can't deal with no male prostitutes. Well,
I wouldn't dare. And
well,
so
But they say now, I think it's crazy, but they say a lot of times the men that openly date trans women have a mental illness.
what?
for what?
Oh, so wait a minute, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I heard somebody say that, and I'm just like, what do you mean by that? They said they a lot of insecurities that
Uh,
they deal with, and I think when they become too public with their with the fact that they are attracted to trans women, it begins bad. That's how we get back. I'm trying to wheel us back to the conversation that we supposed to be having because we done
yeah.
got on men, and
Sorry.
this is not a show about love. So I'm trying to take us back on topic, but yeah, but I heard somebody breaking. And I was just kind of like, but then I started looking at like the men that I be coming to. I'd be like, it's always something wrong with them or something. They ain't financially stable, or they financially stable and want to be in a closet, or
They
it
just
just
cooked
it
up
just
and
be too
upside the
much.
head.
Well, I had a
It,
question for you, Poker. So, how do you balance being a mother because you have 4 kids and having a love life? Do you introduce your kids to your link ups? Like, do they meet them or no?
I'm
No.
on the DL. My
Y'all
kids
the
think I'm
DL.
saved.
yes, man. Come
This
on,
your
be on the
uncle. This
D.
your uncle.
They,
This your
I
grandpappy.
only hook up when they're not around.
there you go.
I'm
So,
just
get away.
very mindful. And my number one goal as a parent is to protect my babies and not. And even though I'm trans, I live a normal life,
Mhm.
and I am mindful when I'm dating guys and stuff. I'm a fun girl. I like to have fun. I'm not looking for nothing to. I'm not gonna say I'm not looking for nothing to be committed to right now, or don't want to be. I'm not willing to be committed to no one. But the type of guys that I'm dating are only good times, and I think I'm being protective of me, so
Hmm.
that I don't get too tired of with them guys, and so that I'm keeping focus on what's my main priority, which is raising those kids. So I don't let them meet anybody I'm sleeping with.
Period.
Mm-mm.
I agree with that.
Well, what's our next topic, Poker? You got what was on the next on the agenda?
I
That's
wanted to talk
Oh,
about
go ahead.
I wanted to talk about something because again we're doing trans current events as well, are we not?
Yeah.
right.
So I also wanted to talk about give our perspective on what's happening with Gold Gym. What do you think about that?
I haven't heard about that. So can you explain to us what took place? Because I wasn't aware.
Okay. So there's two parts to this because I see both sides. There was I suppose, a trans person, which I guess they have confirmed that they're a trans person because they went on TMZ. This trans person that went into a woman's locker room. Make this distinction, not a woman's restroom.
Wait, was he wearing
Um,
pink? He was wearing pink heels.
no,
Okay, no, different.
he was,
Okay,
and it was a woman's locker room, not a woman's restroom. So in this
okay.
locker room, there were women showering and getting undressed and stuff like that. So he goes in there, and if I show y'all a picture of what
He said he.
she, I'm sorry,
Oh.
she goes in there. Sorry, I'm sorry. She goes in there, but she definitely looked like a he when she went in. She went in
Clearly.
there just plain boy clothes, no, not made up, just her regular little boy haircut, just kind of went in. And I think she went in there and shaved her face. But anyway, whatever the case was, her was untucked, right, or something, and somehow a penis was seen.
Oh wow.
Well, this black stud, now
Come
mind you,
on.
this black stud, lesbian chick, sounds, looks, and kind of acts like a man. But she runs out of there going off on Gold's Gym. There's a man with a penis in the women's restroom, in the women's locker room, and there should not be penises. I shouldn't have to be around no penis and penis and penis and penis. So, that's how.
she feel like that. I wonder if she feel like that because she's not interested in penis.
Well, but here's the thing. First of all, she's transphobic because it's come out that she does that to trans men. She does that to, she kind of is one of them kind of anti-trans lesbians. And she went to a town hall meeting where they were surrounded by these white folk, and I think cisgender, heterosexual and gay white folk that were surrounding them. And when she was talking the shit she was talking about transgender people, they booed the hell out of her. I don't care, I'm a black lesbian, and y'all don't understand. I shouldn't have to be around a penis, and blah blah blah. And stuff like that. So where I see to both sides. I understand. To me, and this
They
is
said,
where
why humiliate the woman like that? What do you mean, Island Browning?
No, okay, so she's talking about why he humiliate the trans woman like that.
Oh, okay,
okay.
I got
Now
you.
here's where I want to get at. Here's
Okay.
the trans woman part. First of all, I don't know. Most of the women on this panel came from a place of understanding that there is a such thing as safe spaces for cisgender women. Now, do I think a restroom is a safe space for cisgender women? No, that's a safe space for women, period. Why? Because when you go into a restroom, everybody goes into a stall to do their business and no genitalia should be seen.
Correct.
So a trans woman should be able to go into a women's restroom, go into a stall, do her business, and come on out. Now,
Right.
when it comes to locker rooms, this is a place where women are undressing in front of each other. Vaginas are exposed. They're taking showers, titties. They're doing all of this because it is a safe place for their naked bodies. As a trans woman, I went through a phase where I wasn't always the prettiest. I wasn't always the most feminine.
But you
Most
always
of
had
us,
body.
I ain't always had body. Most of
Right.
us go through that. It takes hormones. Girl, I had to get titties, bitch. But most of us go through that. Most of us go through that. And the thing is, I came in a generation where I understood that you don't go into women's spaces until you can blend in with the women. Until you've
You're
gotten to the
comfortable.
point where you can walk into a women's restroom or locker room and not make everybody uncomfortable
Right.
and not make everybody look at you crazy because they got their daughters in there, then you shouldn't be going. Because and this doesn't mean you have to be pretty. Let me tell you something. If that child had gone into that locker room with a headband on, same level of transition, because she said she started her hormones in February. Same level of transition, but as she gone in there with a sports bra and even looking somewhat feminine, she might not have gotten the problem. She went in there looking like a whole boy, transitioning in her mind and expects everybody to see it. Transgender is not just a mental thing. It's not just a mental identity. Transgender means you need to be in some sort of transition. If you're
Yeah,
not, if people
but
can't outwardly see your transition, you can't outwardly expect them to respect it. And that's just the truth. Women are not going to look at you while they're children and while they're getting undressed in a women's locker room, see a boy walk in and just accept you as a woman. They're not going to do that.
I
yeah,
agree.
but
And
Miko,
it's not fair to expect them to.
I think it's the conversation we had on the last episode about passability, and really just trying to understand the everyone's transition is not going to be the same, but they should still be respected. Some folks aren't going to go through all the way with transitioning, whether that's gender affirming surgery. And so when trans women don't go through that, it doesn't mean that invalidates their womanhood. It just means they're not comfortable enough, or they don't have the privilege to be able to do that. So we need to be able to normalize saying some women have dicks. It's a thing.
But we also have to
Uh,
understand that some women have trauma behind dicks. That's why there are safe spaces for people with vaginas, like locker rooms. Some women don't want to have to get undressed in front of people with
But
dicks.
Okay,
They have
okay, okay,
trauma.
but
okay.
but
But you're
let me
also
Okay,
say
so
invalidating.
I want to
It,
say, okay, so you saying locker rooms, as in like they do have some kind of privacy guard when you're walking around. You just can't just walk around in these locker rooms naked like that. You
yeah,
have to
yes
you
be
you
can.
clothed.
can.
No, there
You
are
can.
some locker rooms, again, where
I
there
mean,
are
I think
showers,
almost like those private gyms like that. Like, girl, this is Gold's Gym. Ain't that a franchise?
where
Yeah.
there are but see, women still get undressed and change clothes in there.
But
yeah.
what worries me about this conversation, and it's coming from the person it's coming from, is that I would feel less safe with someone I know that is attracted to me in a locker room and I'm naked than someone that probably don't give a damn what I look like up under these clothes. And that's what I thought was interesting. Somebody from the community that's attracted to women, because she is a lesbian, she said, and
She could
she's
be
in
a
a locker
predator.
room with other women. If I'm a cis woman and I am not attracted to other women, I wouldn't want this person in the locker room. So I think what I'm getting to is that, first of all, why are we still fighting for spaces that, well, why are we not creating our own spaces and not
Gi-
saying that,
Give us
oh,
our own
we need to
bathroom.
figure out what you got, huh?
Give us our own bathroom.
Yes. I mean, why do we have to fight to be in these spaces to where,
Hold on,
because
we
to
have.
me,
I
huh?
want.
We have a question from somebody in the comments. They said, "What about your comfortability What about your comfortability when you are in transition but still having to go to a men's bathroom?" I hope my question doesn't offend you, ladies.
Well, let me
This is
Okay,
cisgender
okay.
woman.
I can answer that. I can truly answer that. I can truly answer that. I work in fast food, okay, and there's children going in and out the bathrooms, women and men. I go to the men's restroom still at work because I don't want to put anybody in a fence of going in there with their children. I still go to the men's restroom at work, and I know it kind of makes me feel uncomfortable that I have to sometimes wait till the store closes to go to the restroom, but I still go to the men's restroom because I don't want the other people to feel uncomfortable around me.
But I would think it would be more uncomfortable for a trans woman to walk into a men's restroom and a little boy is in there because of everything that they're trying to put on us.
right.
Like trans people are looking at little kids, and if you're a trans woman, majority of the time, with this new trans stuff, and child, everybody dating everybody, so trans is our identity, not a sexual preference. So I just don't feel like it should be a trans woman should be going into the men's restroom.
I
Now,
don't
on the
either.
flip side, I am a parent and I
Mm-hmm.
have girls. I'm not just that comfortable with someone who's not fully transitioned in the restroom with my babies, my girls.
Mm-hmm.
And why we all just going to the restroom to pee and everything. But what I do not want to do, I don't want to go policing what anyone's transition should look like neither.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, because what we do is when we start saying if you're not fully transitioned, all of us, even when we feel like we at the top of transition, done had everything, we still
From
are
laptop to D5
transitioning. And I don't think it's fair to be like, oh, she would have put on a headband and everything, because you also have like the lesbian who was doing all the complaining. You also have women that are masculine presenting as well
Hmm.
that are in these spaces too. So I don't want to ever get into a space where I feel like I'm policing someone's transition. And I don't want to be fighting for nobody else's space. And although I live my life and I identify as a woman, I still want to also one first make sure that I'm safe.
Hmm.
And knowing that going in both the cis women's restroom and cis men restroom, both of those can put me in situations that could be unsafe.
Yes.
Well, let's just
I
keep it all the way, B, because you just said something that makes a lot of sense to me, bitch. Some of these women look like men too. They look like some of these women look more manly than us.
listen.
No,
I
but
agree with
that's true.
everything. I agree with
And
what
then
they're saying, and I agree with what Stacy said.
So
That transition can look any kind of way, and we need to normalize. But again, this is basically boiling down to a lot. Because again, I've never felt uncomfortable going into a women's restroom. That is my preferred restroom, and why? Because again, nobody has to ever know what's between anybody's legs in a women's restroom. Everybody goes into a stall
Right.
and comes out. And we're talking about a dressing room where women are undressing in front of each other. There is a big difference. And so even if these are lesbians in here, stud lesbians, because let me tell you something, this thing looked and sounded just like a dude. You could tell she was a woman. You could tell she was a woman, but looked and sounded just like a dude.
Hmm.
All I'm saying is, as trans women, to be respectful of a safe place for vaginas, the least we can do, the very least we can do, is to hide the one thing that points to us as definitely male.
I
When you
agree.
go into a women's locker room, the least you can do, the very least you can do,
Tuck.
even if you are at the very beginning of your transition, is hide your dick. It's not
Now,
that big of a thing.
where was
why
the
don't the
guidance?
trans men? Why don't the trans men have this issue? Why don't we hear about the trans men going into men's
Because
bathroom?
because
No,
And
trans men follow the patriarchy. Let me tell you something. The
that is
patriarchy
not true.
loves masculinity and hates femininity. So any woman who aspires to masculinity, she's all good in their book. Any man that aspires to femininity is weakness. That's why we are a problem and they're not.
Trans men have. I've been in a couple of circles where I don't had the opportunity to speak with trans men. Go through some of the same things we go through, and the reason why we don't know is because a lot of us don't know like a whole lot of trans men.
hmm.
And but they experience some of the same thing because it has nothing to do with nobody's penis being out or being able to put see somebody boobs or anything like that. It's all about being transphobic. And I think no matter what you do, you can't control someone if they're transphobic. You still gonna experience this no matter if you're the prettiest thing, if they get any sense that you are
Something that you're not.
anything in the restroom that like that not assigned living a life that's not assigned at birth or identifying as someone or identifying as an identity or gender that you wasn't assigned at birth, it's still you're still gonna have to deal with transphobic period. And it don't matter if she was tucked or not. What I've learned and what I've always experienced because of my frame, my body frame, I don't really. I'm. It's getting easier now, but for a long time, I never was able to sit in a room with studs, lesbian studs.
Hmm.
Why?
I I don't know. It was like an issue, but they always felt some type of way about trans women, and me personally, I always was used to get into it with studs, and they used to try to. I don't know. I guess because I'm tall and pretty, or I don't know what it was, but it was always an issue with studs that I would always have. Like they would bump into me and they would do like the craziest shit, and it just be like, "You want me to whoop your ass, but I'm not because I'm a lady."
It
And
was
it just be like they be trying to because I know I have a strong presence when I walk into the room and I walk with like, "Bitch, you don't fuck me," and I guess to justify their manhood or to I don't know, but it just seemed like they would do something to like try to men up to me or something like I don't know what it be, but I just never was able to get. I just recently started being around, being able to get up and be in the same spaces as studs, and it's crazy.
It was
But
different for me. It was different for me because I what you call it. Hey, Robert Coleman. It was different for me because I actually came out on the scene with the gays, with the lesbians. I started off on the girl side, so I kind of felt welcomed by them. And I always had like stud homegirls, homeboys, whatever. And so My experience was a little different. Then I didn't come out to like the gays until I was like 2 years in the game. I was probably like 18 years old, and then I finally went to like a gay night, and I was like, oh my god! And that's when I met Silky, and I met some of the and Brown Sugar and Jody Malone, and I was like, oh wow,
Brown sugar.
Brown Sugar,
The girls are the girls.
The
girls are the
girls.
girls. Bitch, and I seen Jody Malone. And I said, God damn, that bitch already was fab. But and mind you, that's the first actual trans woman that I ever experienced or saw was Silky, and she was doing breaking dishes on by Rihanna on the show at Elma Pearl, and I was so amazed by her beauty.
Okay, girl, for the girls bio, let's stay on focus.
Oh,
Trans Day
sorry,
of
but yeah,
Remembrance.
but yeah.
I want to know what the guidance was for this trans woman. Like everybody starts out with a little guidance from the trans community. Where was her guidance? Like who was teaching? Who's teaching her?
That's a good question.
What do you mean?
Like okay, my trans mother, Yasmin, she taught me the spaces that I will be able to get into, the places I will feel comfortable in, and you know what she's seen in me where I would feel she thought I would feel comfortable. Now I've tried other places, but my places I know where my places are.
So who's mentoring her?
Where is their guidance?
Who's mentoring her?
I
Yeah.
had it's crazy you asked that because I have a best friend. She's a cis girl, Jocelyn, and she always be like, "Poker, come on, let's go here," and like concerts and stuff like that. And then she would always get mad at me because she was like, "You don't never want to go to nothing unless it's a gay event." I was like, and I had to break down to her. I said, "Well, Jocelyn, it's not that I don't want to go anywhere with you. It's just that I like to go in places that I know I'm safe and I don't have to deal with any kind of situations. Not saying that now." That the gay community is just the safest space for trans women. But I know when I go out to like heterosexual scenes and things like that, and like just the straight clubs and stuff like that, I have to deal with sometimes where I don't personally, because she also made me realize something, but I do know those girls who's not as passing or are not easy on the eyes, they do experience some things, and I just don't know if like I just don't condition myself to stay where it's safe for me, you know?
Where you're
And
comfortable?
yeah, huh?
Where you're comfortable?
Yeah, where I'm comfortable, where I know it's safe, that I don't have to deal with like discrimination, hate, and be around people that's transphobic or just anything that makes me uncomfortable. I try not to go to those places, but she was just like, Poker, it's in your head. And I don't think she really, really gets like how you can just be existing and because of somebody else's insecurities or the way people feel can potentially put you in danger. And I
How
think a lot of
dangerous it
those
is.
girls, yeah, it
Dangerous.
can put you just by existing, not even messing with people. And it's just I don't think it connect to her, but I had to really break it down to her. Like, girl, like some of those spaces like might be welcome. Like even in church, I told her mom's a pastor. I said, girl, she was like, you want to go to the church? I said, yeah. I said, I don't mind going and support you. I said, I want to support. I said, but every time I walk into the preacher feel like he gotta lay his hands on me.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was just like, and I
That's
was
one
like,
of the reasons I stopped going to church. Like that black church is something else.
and it's not even that I'm messed up about a preacher laying their hands on me. It's just what's your
Why
intent
me?
once you lay your hands on me, are you trying to
Pray the gay out of me?
pray something out of me, or what is your intent? Like, what is your intentions when you put your hands on me?
Yeah.
Because everybody that pray for you ain't always praying for the good, you know.
Mhm,
And some
mhm.
you just don't know. And baby, like it's too much going on in life for you to be playing with me like that. And I'm a child of God, just like you are.
Right.
And I don't want you praying over me if you're not praying the way I need you to pray over me.
So,
And I said, okay. I said, girl, but I'm gonna try it. I said, let's go. So as her mother's up there preaching, they calling people to the front. Everybody needs prayer, but she's steady saying it, and I'm tapping Jocelyn on the shoulder as her mama looking around the room, but keep locking eyes with me, hoping I get up and come get prayer. So she stops. So she stops and say, "I know you didn't get up, but baby, come up here so I can pray over you." I
Oh,
said,
no,
"I would
she
not."
Oh,
didn't.
she said that.
I said, "I
No,
would
she,
not."
oh, uh-uh.
I said, "No." I said, "No, ma'am, thank you." And she
mhm.
said, "No, it's okay. You don't have to be ashamed. Come up here." No, ma'am, I would not. No man,
Go
and I
ahead,
see right
Anthony.
there, but I was so embarrassed because I felt like in that moment she made me unsafe. Because one,
You're
you know
pointing
me
fingers at me, huh?
personally, and you
Right.
was gonna use a public situation to do your intent was wrong, and it just made me feel unsafe. And I was just, and she cried when she got out. She's like, "Poker, you said that," and I didn't know there was just. I said, "Yeah, that's why I don't go back." I said because I don't know what people intent is. I just don't want everybody praying on me, but I'm saying all that to say it's been the way I'm making it to 41 on
Sunday.
Sunday is because I've learned how to navigate and make sure I'm staying like I still have to go to grocery stores. And I know we can't just box ourselves in and stay in spaces that's, that's for the community and stuff like that. I still have to exist in society. But I have learned how to navigate through those spaces. And I think what Courtney's asking is who's teaching her how to navigate through these spaces and stuff. That's what you're saying, right, Courtney?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah,
what I was
so I
thinking.
just, but I don't think nobody. I learned that through living life. I don't think it was nobody that taught me that. I learned how because my mama couldn't teach me that, and because my drag mother is just a showgirl, she didn't really go out in society. I had to learn it like while taking chances and just growing and as I got older, like not trying to always be seen. And I was me and Chloe was in this group and we talked to a couple. It was beautiful because you remember Auntie Donna and G Mama Sharon Grayson
Yeah.
was speaking and they said the way that they was able to make it to 73 and 76 as trans women is by being almost invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like while we're losing so many girls today,
It was so
it's
visible.
because we're trying to be so visible.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that was brought out of the trans circles, trans sister circle, was also trying to stand up for everything and make it
Knowing your
so that we're
battles.
visible. Like we were fighting to be separate and to be accepted as trans women, but we also fighting to be included with cis women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're struggling with it, and that's why so many because it's so much confusion. Then we got these binary spaces we're fighting for, but then we got non-binary people coming behind us saying we don't want none of those spaces. We want our own space.
Right.
And it's just the movement has just become so fucking confusing that I know for me, I don't even know what side I'm on because right now I'm just like, I don't just give me a restroom that one person can go in at a time.
A
Hello.
family. Go to the family bathroom.
And
So
to
I
me, and to me, that is a symptom of this trans umbrella. Once they change the definition of what trans is to include everything and everybody that's questioning anything about their gender at all, now you don't have to be in transition to be transgender. As a matter of fact, we were just talking about this. Me, Niecy X, and Janelle Monáe sitting in a row. Three completely different people, but now all of a sudden, oh no, better yet, me, Saucy Santana,
Uh,
and Niecy X sitting all together. We're all the same now because of this transgender umbrella when you can clearly look at us and see we're not the same. So that's the problem. Now people don't know what transgender is because it looks so many different damn ways, not just in transition, but now you don't even have to transition to be transgender. And that's part of the problem. One of the things that we were fighting for, transgender affirming care. If you're not transitioning, what you need gender affirming care for? So
I have a
we
question.
fighting for women's restrooms. You don't believe in the binary. What you fighting for women's restrooms for? This is the problem that this umbrella is causing.
where
Question.
did it come from?
Oh.
I think the need of the separations of identities is so that when it comes to resources and the needs, when it comes to like services, resources and things like that, and what the need of an individual needs is, they create those boxes. Let's just say if I'm a trans woman and you're a cis woman, certain things that you're going to need as a trans woman, you might not need as a what's called as a cis woman. So they create all these different labels so that one, they know how to treat you when you walk in the door when it comes to like healthcare and things like that. and also so that they know how to kind of put you as a populations. And it all falls to like the needs and where to be placed. But I feel like all the labels is what's confusing. Even when it comes to like trans women, if people just respect people as people first,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think none of this will be a problem. No matter what lifestyle or what how I identify, respect me as a human, and I think we'll get past all that shit. I think the
I don't
labels
think
is
we
just
will.
causing all
We
the
have
confusion.
we have a comment. She says straight people could be more proactive in educating themselves as well, and I do agree with that.
But
I
here's
Uh,
think
the
I think
here's
I
the
think the
problem
education
though.
that's put out there. I think the education that's put out there for the straight people on social
disrespecting a
media
woman.
is totally wrong. I think they're getting the education from social media first of all, and then they're getting it from these aggressive people trying to educate them.
Mm.
Can I
Uh,
also say that there is in every single one of the big three religions, there's something against homosexuality and transgender.
Well,
Every
yeah.
big one of the big three. So this gives them a religious, godly excuse not to have to educate themselves about it. This gives them a religious excuse. I'm Christian, so I don't have to look up what a transgender is. I just know it's wrong. I'm Christian, so I don't have to look up why you're transgender or what gender dysphoria is or what. I don't have to look up any of that or educate myself on any of that because you're wrong because God said no. That is the attitude of most cisgender religious people. So they're not going to educate themselves. They will they will deny the science because of their religion. So
I
we're
believe
not
that's
going to get
one
to a place.
thing, but another thing is that them like with legislation, them stripping all our laws that protect us, all the
Mm-hmm.
laws that protect us away,
Yeah.
allows them to be like we ain't gotta fuck with that. We don't gotta accept that. And if we kill them, it's justified because we don't have to value their life. Their life is not valuable. And it's scary out here today
Mm-hmm.
because so much is going on. And when I think about like all the girls, I'm bringing it back, that
Mm-hmm.
done that done lost their life. How many of those girls' cases done been swept up under the rug?
Lots
So
of them.
many, so
for
many.
years, they do that for years, and and all of a sudden, and then it'll pop up. Oh well, the trans women's, we just put them on trial, and they got 5 months state jail.
If they went to trial, if they didn't do it like they did Miss Nicole and just and chalked it up to her hanging herself from a tree with her dog's leash, like that happened.
Or
This
the list
some
of hanging up in the jailhouse.
some again, when the president tells the country that transgender is a nihilistic terrorist threat and uses religion to do so, then again, we are in a place in a country where we cannot bust the fucking door down. Black people in this country still have not been able to bust the fucking door down, and transgender are a smaller population than them. So the problem is we can't just say once we decide that I'm transgender, okay, well now I own every woman's space because there are too many cisgender heterosexual women in this country that will not allow that and that will not just accept us there. That is the reason why Sharon and Miss Thing said and Miss Donna said you've got to be invisible. You
Visible.
don't have to be pretty to be invisible. You just have to be passable enough to where you're not creating a scene when you walk through women's spaces. That's it.
Let's
Well,
say that you say
question.
invisible. You saying invisible.
Yeah.
What's term? What's in what term and what sense?
Invisible means
So
if you
invisible
walk
being
into a
meaning
grocery store,
knowing
when you
how
walk
being
into
able
a
to
grocery store,
blend.
you
Without
barely
a problem.
recognize people in the you barely pay attention to people in the grocery store.
See,
The only
like
people that
okay,
catch
so
your attention.
I would say like it being invisible. I go to work. I'm gonna get ready to go to work. We live every day normal day lives. Being
Mhm.
invisible is like just every day for us like that. But when a person tries their best or their intentions is to point you out, then how do you stay invisible?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
but that's again because I'm sure Donna and Miss Grayson have experienced that. The point of being invisible is to hone all of those things in, and this is what they were saying: to
mm-hmm.
hone all of those things in and perfect your womanhood. That doesn't mean perfect your look. That means perfect your womanhood if you're living as a woman, because there are plenty of ugly trans women, ugly females, ugly that walk their lives every day without these problems because they're not drawing attention to yourself with this transness. And when I say transness, there are girls to me who live as women,
What question?
and there are girls to me who live outwardly as trans.
When
Okay,
did,
And
let's
when
throw
you're
away
hold on.
that word ugly. Because I mean, let's just throw away that word ugly. And
Okay, hold on. I have a question. So when is it okay? Like, when do y'all feel like it's okay to tell somebody your tea? Like when is that okay? Because for me, like I hate when people come approach me. Like I hate being approached by dudes, and I hate cause I don't want to have to immediately be like, hey, I'm trying. So I
Because
always tell
dudes
them,
can be aggressive.
yeah, I always tell them, I be like, this ain't what you want, baby. This ain't that, baby. Baby, no.
I always say disclose when you feel safe.
When you feel safe.
when you feel safe.
Uh-huh.
who's not disclosing anything these days?
Well, no, I'm just saying because
Well,
in this
girl,
country,
some of
I'm
us
not just
don't look
walking
like
around
it.
with
Some
no.
of us.
I'm not walking around with no a trans flag saying, "Hey, I'm a transsexual" every goddamn day. Like I'm just walking around.
Hold
How are
on.
we meeting people? How are we meeting people
Let
to
me
say
say
these
this.
things?
Let me say this. Disclosing at the wrong time can be just as
Mhm.
dangerous as
Right.
not disclosing at all. And
You're
this
not
is what
doing
I mean by that. I went
and
to
let
a
the world
club with
know.
some fish friends, and I was, when I go to a club with fish friends, I dance with the fish because I don't be wanting Trey to be on me.
Hmm.
Well, there was Trey standing at the end of the dance floor trying his best to get my attention, and I ignored the shit out of him. Well, he sent his cousin to come and ask me while I was ignoring him. And I told him, your cousin don't know I'm not a woman. He looked at me and said, oh, and went back and told his cousin. I'm
Oh,
still dancing with fish. And I look at him, tell his cousin, and I read his lips. He said, that's a man.
oh,
His cousin looked me dead in my face and said, he looked me dead in my face and said, and mouthed the words, I don't care.
oh.
What's up? His
Yes, ma'am.
no. His cousin saw him do that, looked at him crazy, then went back to the group of niggas they was talking to. I'm watching all this happen while I'm dancing with fish.
That's
Went back,
scary. That's
went back
scary.
to the group of niggas they was talking to. They all come and surround him, reading him about it. Me and my girlfriends get off the dance floor to go sit down and have a drink at one of the little tables. They done coaxed him up to come to me in my
Oh
face while we're
God.
sitting down. Me and Fish are sitting down. He's standing in front of our table surrounded by 6 niggas. So you really a man? I said, I told you that. And before I knew it, he hit me in my face. They
See,
have convinced him that he was wrong for being attracted to me.
Oh,
So
girl.
again,
so
No.
you can't
dangerous.
Girl,
What
what?
y'all talking
you,
about? That
Bubba,
is
you
dangerous.
Girl,
you can't
what?
you have to be very careful in which spaces you just disclose your shit.
That is
You can't
dangerous.
Oh
sometimes do
Because
that.
my.
luckily, it was just a hit in the face. Because in some situation, I can guarantee you, with some of those ladies bringing you back, that was a shot to the head,
Yeah,
and
most
it was
definitely.
all because of those guys being
Hyping him up or
no,
trying to score on
those
him.
guys hyping them up, and also them being embarrassed about being attracted to
Exactly.
trans women. And it be so disappointing and so frustrating to me when I see like a trans woman die. Oh, she must trying to fool somebody. Girl, ain't nobody walking around here playing that game no more. We
Yeah,
ain't
ain't
gotta
nobody.
play those pussy games no more. We not doing that, but it be these different type of men, cause it be these type of men that be the ones that be killing us.
Hmm.
Yes.
Because they find a liking to us and they not man enough to just say, oh, I'm attracted to a trans woman.
Right.
And you got people that you got one, the church telling them it's wrong, and you're going to hell. And then you got the families, the black families that done conditioned them to like, this on you and all this. Like you got so much stuff as black men you have to deal with just because you're attracted to a trans woman, and then you got your own insecurities, like knowing that you've been taught that this is the wrong thing and everything, and it's something you're attracted to. That's embarrassing. That's hard to deal with. And the easiest things for some of these whole ass niggas to do is just to
Knock it
shoot
out.
you as if it's gonna wipe away their attraction to you.
Because I'm sure that after he hit you, Miko, the girl, he still wanted you.
Bitch, he hit me. And he was a big swole nigga, so he couldn't have been trying to
You
hit me
need
too
you need to
hard.
shut daughter there.
Because all
You
he
need to
did
shut
was
daughter
knock
there.
off my lash. He hit me in my face and then knocked off my lash. But I was like, and I
You
looked
need
at
to
him real
shut
quick.
daughter there because I wouldn't win at him. I don't care
I,
how
well,
big it is.
after I got the shock out of it, I instantly jumped up and ran to the pool table and grabbed the pool ball and started trying to chunk pool balls in the damn face.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
they,
My girl.
and they, but his homeboys, they escorted him out the club, had him sitting at the club. Did none of his homeboys follow him? All these niggas that hyped you up into doing this shit, they left you sitting outside by yourself. When the club let out, he was over in a corner somewhere staring at me crazy.
Oh.
Because he still wanted you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he probably found you on the ad later on in there and hit you up on tag or something.
Girl,
Like,
nah, I remember
bro.
his face, and I ain't never seen him again.
Hey,
It just be
Spicy.
so crazy about just being existing in spaces and can be harmed just because of who you are
Yeah.
or who you identify as. That is so scary, and then you don't have no control over it. Just because people can be evil and hateful, but then that's one side of it. But then also, like they're talking about when we talk about being invisible and stuff like that, a lot of the girls do a lot because sometimes I can be with a group of trans women and I done experienced this a bunch of times. Some young, some old, just across the board. I done experienced trans women going above and beyond to be noticed and not understanding that not everybody is attracted to trans women. And
Right.
I done seen girls disrespect men
Mm-hmm.
in front of like a group of people and just hey nigga just just doing everything, and it's just like to me as a trans woman, one, you have to first know that not everybody's going to be attracted to you, and then also I'm a true believer still to this day a woman is to be seen, not heard. So
Amen.
I'm not trying to be bring too much, and I think that's what Auntie Donna was saying. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want that unnecessary attention because it also can put me in an unsafe situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the girls have got so bold with it now. And not when I was younger, I was bold too.
Hell,
But
you
I
just
also
the other
can
day
fight
was
and I
trying to
also
get me
carry
to.
my strap.
You was just
Huh?
trying to get me to run around with you, Courtney, and what you call it, Kimora the other day, bitch. After the ball, bitch, talk about you not gonna come out with the girls. Baby, I'm good.
Girl, that was last month.
She a lie. But then
Hey, girl, we didn't go nowhere
I
else,
also have
girl.
the best bitches
We didn't
too.
go nowhere else the LGBT community.
Oh, I thought y'all was going to Little World.
No, girl, no. It says Sue's fish.
I go to Little World, but I'm going by myself because I know how to conduct myself and I know how to navigate. But a lot of the girls, they get all this body now, they be over sexually visible. I mean, like they be, they want to show everything. And I mean, I do too, because I'm a titty baby. I like my titties out. But they do a lot to be seen. And like I said, in certain situations, you already got these people that hate that we even exist.
Mm-hmm.
And you just over just being over the top and going in. Not saying, but then again, I'm not policing what you. I don't want to police what
Some
you
Yeah,
things
should
need to be
do or
policed.
because
what's
because
acceptable as a woman to you, because your woman, you represent the woman you want to be. You know,
Exactly.
so if
Exactly.
you want to be in today's age, women are more. They show more like it's a look to show your cleavage and to show your ass and everything, especially if you don't spent all this money on it. You
Right.
got all these cis women walking around with all these body yaddy yaddies and stuff and
Bitch,
everything. You got a thong and
these
everything.
sisters
So,
are BBLs looking more like us. That bitches look like they don't want to go see
yeah.
BBSs and stuff, girl.
but the
Well, yeah.
Can
difference,
I
So
say
but the
something that
difference
might sound?
is, you
Can I
have
say?
laws to protect them, and you don't have those same laws that's protecting us.
Can
Correct.
I?
When
Can I
we're
say?
killed, it's justified.
Who's
Can,
that?
can I say one thing real
can
quick?
I, can I say
Mhm.
one thing? Or go ahead,
Oh,
Nico.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to say I hear everyone's perspective, right? But like I want to kind of piggy on to what Poca was saying about like policing. Like we don't want to police other women. Like yes, I feel like it also just comes from a place of fear. So I think it's our internal desire to want to protect our community from backlash. And I think that we internalize this belief that if we all just fit in, blend in, go into possibility, that people will leave us alone. But I think it's important that we not bargain for our safety by throwing some of those who may not pass under the bus because we want to protect any backlash and protect our community. because then what happens, as we all know, we've all been in our transition for years, and hormones take time, the moans take time. Surgery alone costs a lot of money.
Hmm.
What are these non-passable trans women supposed to do in the meantime? Are they just not supposed to use a public restroom for the next 2 to 5 years while they get surgeries and while they are on hormones? Like, we can't become the policers and the aggressors to our own community. We have to move the goalposts and demand a society respects our existence at all parts of our transition.
I like the way you cleaned it up, Stacey.
Yeah.
And you know what? I like that. I think, but there has to be accountability as well. And once we decide that we're transitioning, and once we decide that trans woman is what we are, we don't then get the right to say, okay, well, now I have the right to disrespect everybody else just in favor of myself. And I think that's what happens when you are transitioning. No, that doesn't mean you have, because I didn't start getting surgeries until or taking hormones until several years into my transition. But until that time, you never caught me looking like a boy. I still was always dressed like a woman, still had my hair done, nails done, still would wear things that would make it appear that I had breasts, even though I didn't at the time. And I did that because, again, I knew that I was a woman. I knew that naturally my look didn't fit into a woman's space. So if I wanted to be in a woman's space, I have to make myself look like them. Now, that's not to say that
Because you
has to be
always been
everybody.
bitch.
Yeah, I was
Does
a 24-hour drag queen for the longest.
that
Girl,
doesn't
you always
But
been
what
bitch. I
happens to the
met you
girls
back
that
in the
have
early
brought you over from this
2000s,
life?
girl. You always
hold
been
on.
We
bitch.
also
That and
have
that's not to
a
say
fish
that
that represent
everybody has to
everybody.
be. That's not to say that everybody has to be a certain level of passability. But what I am saying is, there were certain things that I knew. I knew that if I go into a women's restroom, even if I don't feel like putting on no makeup, I'm not going in there with a beard. Even if I don't feel like dressing or dressing completely feminine, I'm not going in there untucked. I don't want to go in there at the risk of showing anything male that's going to scare anybody off. Now, is that everybody's journey? No. And some people say, well, there's women with beards and there's women who fight and women who do this. Let me tell you something. I don't care what nobody says,
It's not
because
fish.
people look at, take for instance, baddies. You got a bunch of female cisgenders on there fighting each other, looking crazy. Then you go to the girls. You have a bunch of trans women on there, beautiful trans women, fighting each other and snatching each other's wigs off. What they're going to look at and say, when they look at the baddies, they're going to say, oh, these ghetto bitches, these are the. But when they look at the girls, all they're going to say is, see,
Them niggas with wigs
men,
on.
men acting like men. They don't care that, and that's society. They don't care that women do it too.
That's true.
They care how we're presenting it. And we can say we shouldn't care how society thinks about it at all, but the problem is what they think and their opinions
Matters.
end up as legislation.
It matters.
It
Yeah,
ends
well,
up as legislation.
and it ends up
That's
at
why we're
legislation
having
that
these talks.
But it ends up at legislation that also attacks women because, as we know, on December 4th, SB 8 is going into effect, and it's already been deemed unconstitutional simply because if one of us were to experience harassment, let's say a cis woman experienced harassment, and she goes
Mhm.
into the restroom, right? Because obviously it happens. Not all cis women look like women. Some of them got PCOS, so they got they
Mhm.
got polycystic ovary syndrome, so they got facial hair growing. If
Mhm.
they try to sue, SB8 is already not, it's written into the bill itself that they cannot sue to get that bill, an injunction against the bill, how it's done to other bills. Now they've gotten, they keep making these bills harder every time to even try to fight them in federal court. So now we have this bill that's saying that we don't get the right to use the restroom that we want to use based off of our lived gender. And I think that when we start to do that again, we can't become the people who start to police our own community. We have to be able to say, hey, we have to demand that, we get the same sort of privilege and respect that all other passable trans women get. Because again, passing is a privilege, and it shouldn't be a prerequisite to say, I have to pass in order to be able to use a restroom, because not everyone has access to affordable healthcare, to anything to get them to those means, or they don't feel safe enough transitioning completely in the environment that they're in. There could be so many reasons as to why someone's not passing, and I don't think that passing should determine whether they can or cannot use the restroom that they feel safe with, or that is their lived and experienced gendered.
I don't think that I don't think let me say this. I don't think you should have to be passing. I do think you should have to be respectful of where you're going. I don't. I understand that
So a
women
kid
with
shouldn't be
PCOS.
walking up to you and say, "Mommy, who's that? What's that?"
Hold on. I believe, that first of all, women with PCOS has existed for a long time. That's not a new thing, and the reason why they are being affected now is because of the many trans women that decided that once they became trans, they suddenly own the women's restroom, so they can go in there with their beards and they can go in there with untucked because I believe I'm a woman in my mind. And that's what has changed, and that's why they're starting to make laws, and it's starting to affect the women who do have these situations. So again, all I ask is that if we're going to be in women's spaces, to respect the women, respect the womanhood. That don't mean you have to be pretty. That don't always mean you have to be passable. It just means that you need to at least blend enough to not offend everybody you going in there to be around. And that
I,
includes tucking your dick.
I can
oh
agree
my
with that.
God.
I can agree with that.
I understand exactly what you're saying. And
Well,
I get it because for so long we have done everything. Us, when I say we, I'm talking about us as trans women have done everything to be able to exist normally in society. But this new generation has just got too comfortable with just saying, I don't have to do anything. I could just do anything. And I think that's where the problem is coming. Because I mean, if you walk into a women's restroom and you just got a women's locker room, and you just got thick penises swinging everywhere, that is a problem. And not saying that you shouldn't be allowed in there, but that's not a space where that was created for penises to be in. So
Right.
if you're gonna have a penis and be in these spaces, at least put the at least put it up.
That's
You know,
that's all I'm saying. That's
that's what
all
you're
I'm saying.
saying, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's too much to ask.
No,
But when you don't put it up, it creates problem for those who's doing all the necessary things to not have to deal with certain
exactly.
situations. It
Exactly.
creates problems not for the girls who won't put it up. It creates problems for us as the other people as well too.
Right.
And when you done fought this fight and done went through these surgeries and done did everything it takes to be able to be in a space safely that wasn't created for you, it's kind of frustrating for somebody just to walk in there and just be like, oh, I'm gonna get a ball fade and just come up in here and wear a t-shirt saying I am a girl and
Right.
not have a problem. It's frustrating. And then that same person that just started hormones a couple of months ago cause all these problems to the community. And again, I'm back into policing what your transition should be. But I do think it should be certain levels. I just so that everyone's safe and no one feels like they're doing everything to be safe in these spaces. I feel like it should be certain levels, like in your transition, like if legally your documentation does not say female, you should not be in the female's restroom. And I know that's crazy, but
Oh.
I feel like if you go to that point, if you are willing to legalize, that's just like an immigrant being in town. If you don't get your papers to be over here, again, I don't want to sound like that I'm policing or saying that you belong in a spot or say what it is, but I mean it needs to be like that because we are having problems.
Can I tell you where
And people
policing
are
comes
feeling
from?
unsafe.
The reason why we policing comes from you are allowed to do your transition how you want to. But when you do your transition like that and it garners national attention, the attention it garners then affects me.
Mhm.
It affects my right to do this. It affects my right to go into the restroom. It affects my right to get hormones. It affects my right to get surgeries because they saw you do this.
They
So
said,
when we
It's so
police,
mean though.
you see the
huh?
comments? Do you see the comments?
What
I
are they
I can't
understand.
saying?
see them.
It says, I understand. She said, I understand. hold on. Y'all don't see it on the screen? Is
Yes.
it? Oh, I understand what you're saying. Basically, don't mess it up for the respectable trans women. That's what she said.
Or
I,
not even respectable, just don't mess it up for everybody else.
but do you
Because
think
Or
that she's
just
thinking like that? Do you
or
think
just
that she's thinking like
understand
that?
that it's levels to it, and like you just can't wake up tomorrow and say I'm trans and go into the women's restroom and just make everybody feel unsafe. Because if you come in there, more than likely I'm gonna feel unsafe. You know, and it's not policing, but I just feel like it should be, if we're gonna be talking about trans this and what we should have access to, it should be levels to it. You need to get
hmm
some legal stuff done, and if you're willing to go through these surgeries, a certain level of then that it shouldn't be. That should be where we're fighting it. Like if you're able to go through surgeries, or even if you don't want to do surgeries, once you start doing your legal documentation, that shows your legal rights, and you should have access to these spaces. You know what I'm saying? And
Agreed.
that means you put in the effort of really going through transition, because what makes it unsafe is that now you got people dressing up just saying that it's because they're going in and really looking at the women and going in there and misusing the words transgender, and they actually are doing, and men are going dressing up as women just to be able to go in these spaces. It's all types of freaks over there. But the problem that I'm having is that they're tying it with us as trans people, and we're putting in work, and we identify who we are, and we're really going through processes to let the world see who we are on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, man, am I making sense?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
For the
But do
world to
we
see
have
who we are,
those?
we going through all these different changes and transitions and surgeries and stuff so that you understand who we see ourselves to be. And you got people that's using it as a way to prey on kids and prey on women and all this stuff, because it's freaks everywhere.
hmm
And it's just becoming really scary. And I think because we are all over the place as a community, and we're saying you're not trans, you're non-binary, and you're not over here, and you go over here, and just make it a free world, and it shouldn't be like that.
And let me give you another thing, because you were talking about lesbians earlier in the ladies' locker room. We know that gender identity and sexual orientation are two different things. There
Right.
are transgender women who like women. So now you have a dick and you're a trans woman who likes women, and you're in a women's restroom full of naked women. What's going to happen to you? You're going to get aroused around women who have vaginas, and you're aroused. That's going to cause a problem too. And that's what happens. You can say you're transgender all day long, but that doesn't mean you're not attracted to women. And when you're in a safe space for women, it starts to create problems.
And what about the woman being in the women's restroom that's attracted to, in the locker room that's attracted to women? Ain't she gonna get a little wet when she starts seeing naked women?
But but look,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
look,
So you
but
can't
look,
really
she can't
just,
pull out she can't pull out no dick and attack nobody with it. See, people, women,
she can put
men,
something in
women,
that cat though.
she
Yeah,
can. There's a lot of things she can do,
grab some
but
coochies
you
like
have
the
to realize
president.
this is trauma about penises that some women have. And even a
Mm.
lesbian, she might be a predator. And that's
I'm
something you have to
traumatized
work
by
out.
coochie, and
How
I go to the women's restroom.
you sound good.
Well,
You went
well,
there.
is that why you go to the men's restroom,
No,
girl?
at work, at work, at work, at work, at work. Don't do it. Don't do it. At work, at work, at work.
Girl, I'm just asking, girl.
No, but I'm for real, I'm traumatized by coochie. I mean, I was molested as a child by several women, and I'm
Yeah.
traumatized by that. So I said, but in public spaces where I still go into there. So it does it really matter that that happen? I think that person needs guidance.
No, I agree.
I
I
agree.
just,
If
I
she's really
just,
trans, I agree.
I think it's just hard to be safe in society, period. And the main focus is everybody just want to be safe.
hmm
But how do we make it to where one, cis women are safe?
They
How
should
do we
feel
make it
safe in
to
their own
where
spaces.
trans women are safe? How do we make it to where us as black people are safe?
hmm
How do we get back to where everybody's feeling safe and we're not harming anyone?
We ain't gonna ever get to that.
Well, if that's the case, then we just don't use no bathroom. We don't get no
Go to
bathroom.
the bathroom before you leave the house.
Hold till you get home. Hold till you get
Kiss
home.
before you leave. Make sure you
It's
tip before you leave.
Yeah,
He said,
just before you
so,
leave.
so Ida Browning says, just want to say in advance, this conversation is enlightening for me. I thank y'all for being so open and answering questions as well. Oh, thank you. No problem, Ida Browning. She's actually one of my followers from the Chasing World, from my podcast or whatever. So I appreciate you listening to us and giving us your feedback as well.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But
And I want to say
again,
to the lesbian community and the stud community, because like I said, I felt two ways about that. That lesbian, that stud, you did damn wrong. If you saw that this was a budding trans person or saw that this was somebody who was at the beginning of the
But
transition,
they didn't look like they was trans though. Let's say that.
okay,
don't say that because
they didn't look like.
being trans does not have a look.
Yeah, girl, we all look different.
But here's the problem: if
And that
being
gets back
trans
to
can,
passability
if
politics
be,
and
if be,
respectability politics.
but if being trans can just look like being just a
Something.
straight boy, then what is trans?
Oh.
Did she have any knots on her chest?
No, she was
Girl.
wearing plain boy
Wait
clothes,
a minute.
looking like a boy. So if being trans can just look like you in your natural state before transition, if that's okay for transition, just being the way you are, then what exactly is trans?
I think we gotta watch what we say because then we also get into a place to where let's not talk about how dangerous having surgeries and all these taking these malls and stuff can be to our body.
Right.
Yes, it can.
And we don't want to be pushing, oh, you gotta look like this, looking like that, because you how many of our sisters done died on the table?
Hello.
And what
Talk
about
about
these
it.
blood clots that you get when you take all these malls and stuff like that? We gotta really think that like
And
we
putting the
don't we
silicone
want
in
we
our
don't want
bodies.
our the new trans people to think if you transition because one it starts off mental because all of us started in our head before
Hmm.
we started transitioning. So it is a mental transition.
Mhm.
But we didn't
And
start going to restrooms then, though. We waited.
So how long? How long into
I don't
your
see plenty
transition
of gay
did you?
boys go to the restroom before they
Right.
transition.
I mean, the boys use the girls' bathroom at the gay club. But how
I
long
mean,
into your transition did you
I'm
start
talking
using the
about
bathroom?
we're not talking about the gay club. I'm talking about in public situations. When you first decided that you was a trans woman, in like going like in schools or in a federal building or in the grocery store and somewhere else,
Oh
until
no,
you.
the boys get real comfortable. They go in the straight club and go to the women's restroom too.
Uh, now I've seen some gay
Girl.
boys follow the women into the women's restroom. I've seen that. I'm
That's
talking
crazy.
about as trans women. When did you feel most comfortable going into those spaces? Was it right when you, in your mind, decided you was trans?
No, no. It took a minute. It took a minute.
Because that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm not
I
saying that everybody
still
needs to be on hormones and get surgery. No, trans doesn't have to look like hormones and surgery. It doesn't have to. However, it does have to look like some kind of effort. If you ain't gonna get no hormones or no surgery, you ain't gonna get no titties, no hips, no nothing. If you dress like a boy and don't get nothing done, then you're only trans in your mind.
I get what you're saying.
You're not
I,
presenting a woman. You're not presenting anything other than just who you were anyway. So at what point do we get to say, hey, is that really being trans? Are you really transitioning? If you haven't
so
changed anything, haven't even changed the presentation, you even haven't even changed the way you dressed,
so
haven't
I
changed your hair, haven't changed nothing. You just that boy who you were before, but now you say you're a girl.
so I think what we're getting into is tied up gender identity to gender expression.
Mm. Is that what it is?
Shouldn't you express your identity?
I mean, if
Nah.
your identity is your identity, who you trying to prove? Because some girls might not even want to wear skirts, but
You don't have to wear
a
no
social
skirts if you
norm
like
is
this.
that as a woman, you wear skirts and dresses and stuff like that. You'll find some women that don't even wear pants, and you can't just again tie those two things up. And you can't say just because if I say I'm trans that
I'm trans.
I have to present this type of way.
But that's what
Girl,
they're
It ain't.
making it
It
seem
ain't
so
that you
like.
have to.
are you
It ain't
gonna
that you
start
That's
have to
what they're
telling
making
me?
it
present.
seem like.
Are
It
you
ain't.
gonna start telling me that I gotta wear blue hair now because I'm trans? And if I don't wear my blue hair, that mean I'm not trans?
I'm not. No, y'all are misconstruing what I'm saying.
No,
What I'm
I
saying is,
just want you to open your mind, like
I'm opening my.
wide into.
I've opened my mind long time ago to understand that trans can look like women. can look like anything. I've seen women that look like anything and trans women that look like anything. However, what I'm saying is, if you have lived your life as, for instance, let's say uh, 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 Tracy Morgan. Y'all know who Tracy Morgan is?
Mhm.
Yup.
Okay. Let's say
Yes, I
Tracy
do. Oh my
Morgan.
God, yes, I do. I was in jail with her.
Who?
No, Tracy Morgan, the famous dude.
Oh wait, no. I thought you said I was in jail with Tracy. My bad.
Okay. Let's say Tracy Morgan, at his old age, said, "You know what? I've always felt feminine. I think I'm transgender now. I think
Bruce
I'm a woman."
Jenner.
Bruce Jenner.
No, but he didn't do what Bruce Jenner did. And he didn't he didn't start wearing hair. He didn't start shaving. He didn't change the way he dressed. He still dressed like Tracy Morgan, still got a little light beard, still bald headed. But he said, "I'm a
Oh,
woman."
I got no way.
Hasn't put any effort into changing or showing that woman he now identifies as. That's what the problem is. And that's why it's becoming an issue, because we have people who are not actually applying anything to the identity. They're just now claiming the identity.
I get what you're saying. I get it. I don't know. It's crazy.
Mhm. I just feel like we doing a lot of
Sis.
policing, and
Right.
we doing what the heterosexual and cis folks are doing to us. We're doing it to the
To each
less
other.
passing girls, and I think it just it's something that we're conditioned to just keep policing each other. But if we continue to do that, you might think you passing girl, but the next person might not, and then I mean, it's a movement where we stuck because at the
I
end,
know, I know that no trans women will ever be completely passable to everybody. I
I
know
mean,
this.
I am, but
Which I don't know about you, but
I
I'm not.
am, but
I'm not, and I'm not tripping about that. All I'm saying is, I make an effort to not offend the spaces that I'm trying to be a part of. That's it. I make an effort. And if you're not going to make an effort to not be offensive in the spaces that you're trying to be accepted in, because again, we have too many, it's not enough of us to bust through the door and just tear down the binary. It's
right.
not enough of us to do that. So that won't happen for 100 or so years. For
I
just
mean, it's
that to
enough
be,
of us to make a difference. But are we
it's enough of
really?
us to make a small bit of a difference, but not so much,
I
because as you
don't
can see,
know. I don't know.
the small different bit of difference that
Gotta do
we've
what they
tried to
gotta
make in the
do.
past several years, we see how
I don't
quickly that can
see
be
some.
upturned.
I
I
think we
don't
have to
see
take
some
advantage of the
things
spaces that are
happening.
provided to us, though,
But the
because so many.
thing is, I think the problem with our community, one, we unaware of what's going on around us.
Correct.
Mhm.
And,
What you
and,
got?
and my question to my community is, do we even really care?
Right.
I'm asking that because I feel like we done got so comfortable to just accepting whatever to be whatever, whether it comes to men, whether it comes to laws, whether it comes to our freedom thing, and we so stuck in the survival mode that are we really gonna
Change.
do what's needed to be done to make these changes? Because we're capable of doing it. If enough of us go to the Capitol or to the White House and stand in the line, just the girls in Washington, D.C. alone that I came in contact to, if it just those girls go to the White House and we go to our state representatives and to the Capitol and all that stuff, we can make some change.
But we saw
But
how that worked out when we tried to do
are
it.
we as a community ready to do it?
No. You
I
saw how
don't
that
think we
worked out when
are.
we tried to do it. When we tried to go to the city hall, me, you, Stacy, and maybe in Atlanta, and maybe a handful of were actually trans people.
Oh
Or
my
not,
God,
I'm
here we
sorry,
go,
were
policing
actually
again.
trans men, were actually trans men and trans women. The rest were trans people identified. But when it comes to us that actually live in the binary, we didn't really show up as much like that.
Well, it even comes down to like the spaces, like the space that I went to recently with Coca or whatever. It was so many empty chairs. There was so many like, and like those are opportunities that we miss a lot of times, like those conferences and stuff like that. And I learned so much from the conference, like, and it just be so unfortunate that like we don't make it a point to show up to things like that as far as like as a community, because I feel like it's definitely needed. Like I learned so much. I didn't realize I was living under a rock, to be honest, and it just makes me want to do more. It pushes me to want to do more.
Hmm.
That's why I made it like
But we
I
was at anybody that said like we're not a family. We eat together around here and we pray about food.
I was
Uh
Oh,
oh
oh my
sorry.
bad.
I was telling y'all that I was that's why
My bad,
Parent.
y'all. I
we
forgot I was
almost
on the
done though. We
thing.
can wrap this up at 2 hours. If we have to be at 2 hours, but I made it a point because I really wanted to have this conversation today because I felt like it was needed, and I wasn't. And people kept saying we just gonna let the day pass us by, and I was like, you know what, Poker, bitch, we just need to do it virtually and get it and see what happens. But I appreciate everybody for coming today.
Yeah, but
I
this
really
this is
like
how you
that.
kind of have to move, and that's why I was telling Alana too. She was like, "Well," she kept texting. She was like, "What we gonna do? What we gonna do?" The way I do it, don't ask no questions. Just make it happen, because we are in a space right now and in a time right now to where everything can't just be all the way thought out. We have to get up and start having these making rooms, and making spaces where us to be able to have these type of conversations and stuff, because everything is happening so fast, and it's like you can't plan things out. You just gotta do it. I
Do
mean,
it.
you want to be organized, you want to be planned out and stuff, but now we're in a space right now where you got to get up and do it, because we'll wake up tomorrow and the orange man been done did something completely different, and we ain't got no start. We be still trying to plan our first show. So thank you for taking the initiative to go ahead and dropping the gun and putting this together for us.
No
Cause
problem.
child, it's been a struggle
This was
and
ezy though.
trying.
It was easy
Well,
for me. Did y'all like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
Yeah,
cute.
I
no. Thank you
I
for
loved
I
putting
it.
it
enjoyed
together,
this.
Chloe.
I enjoyed this, but let me add to what Poker just said. There is magic in spontaneity, but there's also very much magic in planning. And when you are dedicated to something, planning should not be a problem. When you are dedicated to something, because when you don't plan, you end up with a whole 2 hour long show that you can't use because everybody that wasn't planned out right and it didn't look right and it was cut wrong and everything else happened.
Ooh.
That's why you pre-plan these things. I get that spontaneity needs to
No, it ain't
happen.
got nothing to do with no planning, Miss Mamas.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
It's
does.
got to do
Yeah.
with too many people having too many decisions, and the person that set it all up standing
Right.
back and letting everybody take
Run
on
it.
what they
But
want to
but that's
say.
why but
And
that's why you plan instead of doing it all that one day and in the last minute. You schedule this out. You rehearse this shit so that we know where the lighting is. We
Okay.
know where the cameras are. We know where our
Let
feet
me
are
say
and
this
things.
one thing. Thank you,
This was
Chloe.
good.
I
They
don't.
said this was good.
Yeah, but no, look, Chloe. Let me just say one thing. Thank you for at least motivating us to get on this call to get something done.
Mhm.
I agree, Miko. We can plan better. We can do more. But it was a start, and it's a start that we're on. So I love y'all. Y'all take care. I gotta go
I
get
hope it
some
stays
food.
just like this all night.
So
Love y'all too.
I'm gonna let y'all go.
Love
But thank you so
before
y'all.
much.
before it start
This
up,
was
Love you
fun
all.
though.
Stacy.
This was fun. This was
Until
But
fun.
let's
next
continue.
time.
Let's definitely continue this conversation. I feel like some people in the comments were saying this was enlightening to them,
Uh-huh.
and so I think we're definitely having these conversations. We're definitely always going to have different opinions, and I think we can learn from
Ciao.
each other. I think the more that we learn and we kind of get there, it hopefully we'll learn from each other. Maybe I have something I need to learn from y'all or something, but I feel like we definitely need to continue these conversations. I think it's going to be good seeing that folks are saying it's helping them out. They need to hear from different perspectives of trans lived experiences, and I think that's the important thing. So
Is someone
once again,
speaking?
thank you for sharing the space with me.
Thank you. And you, of course, Stacey, honey, you have to be here every time we do a show because you bring the information that we need. I think that in my closing thoughts, I'd like to say that transgender, our young women, our older women, our just starting women, our veteran women, all of us are due rights, all of us are due respect. The way I transitioned and the era I came from was just a little bit different, where we had to figure out how to assimilate. Now, maybe this new generation does not have to assimilate. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. However, what I do know is the actions of a few, and this has been known throughout every genre, race, identity, the actions of a few can always affect the many. And when we are a small group, we got attacked just for our whole community got attacked just for Caitlyn Jenner winning Woman of the Year. So again, the actions of a few will always affect the many, which is why you have so many girls trying to police. Maybe policing isn't the right way to do it. However, when someone is fearing for their life, fearing that the right to get their ID, their passport is going to be taken away, fearing that their rights to have Medicaid to get their surgeries is going to be taken away, fears that their hormone treatments are going to be taken away, of course, they're going to start policing and saying, stop doing that because you're making all of us the effects of this. We're having to all suffer the effects of this. So I believe that what Courtney was saying, somebody who is, I think it's upon us older trans women and us veteran trans women to look to these young ladies like the lady at Gold Gym, take them under our wings and say, hey, this is how you do transition, or these are some steps that would make it easier on your transition. These are some steps this is how, if you're going to live as a woman, immerse yourself in what women are.
Right.
I believe that we have a responsibility to do that because just like young girls need to be raised by women, young trans women need to be raised by trans women. We need to reach down and talk to these ladies and be more proactive with them so that these things don't happen. Because again, these things always affect all of us.
Period. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for
Anything,
having me.
anything, Poker? You got any last words?
I'm gonna say, one, I love all of y'all, and it's an honor to be on this panel with all of y'all. And but what I do want to say to my trans community is, one, be the trans person you are. Don't dim your life. Don't try to blend. Whoever you are is who you are, while knowing that certain type of lifestyles do put you in dangerous situations. And but I want you to be free to be who you are and not feel like you have to live under the guideline, or if it's like a rule book to what transition should look like for you, or or follow the roles of like the older generation. Just be you, and it's okay, while also understanding that certain type of lifestyles do bring harm your way.
Period.
That's all I'm gonna say. And
Court.
and and I feel like we should take a moment of silence for
I was
those
gonna say. I was gonna
ladies.
say that for the girls, for the
Okay.
Malaysians, for the Paris, for the Canary, Lanari, all of them. Go ahead.
hmm Courtney, she
Yes,
on mute.
I'm
Okay.
here.
You got any closing remarks?
Yes, I enjoy really being on this panel with y'all. Everyone has their own experience as being trans, and everyone is going through something in life that will either help or deter you. But all you have to do is remember that you are loved, protect yourself at all costs, and just be you. Be amazing. That's what you were made for.
Period.
And
Amen.
that you have a right to be you, no
Right.
matter what the laws say, or what these people are trying to convince you
Thank y'all for
to believe.
everybody. Thank y'all everybody for coming tonight because truly, truly, we couldn't do this without y'all. And for all the people that are watching on the playback or whatever, make sure y'all leave y'all's comments and share with your friends and put the word out there because we will be back for some more. I look forward to doing this again. I appreciate y'all sharing this space with me and just being y'all. Y'all have taught me a lot. And being around y'all and just being y'all's presence has taught me so much. Um, Thank you, Poca, for even like going to the conference we went to last week, whatever, whenever it was. Like that was just like eye opening. I told you I had never been around so many intellectual trans women who who just like and you were the only person that presented that made me cry, and you brought me to tears, and I just felt like what you say and how you move is very powerful, and I don't think that you understand like the power that you have with this community and who you are to a lot of us. And I appreciate you and I love you. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Yes, turn up Saturday. Turn up
Happy birthday, honey.
Saturday.
So, all right, that's all. I'm gonna put us out with the closing thing, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Ta-ta.
Bye.